Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, Arsenal 5, Manchester City 1. What an amazing weekend of footballing action. What an amazing game in itself. Unbelievable permutations for the rest of the Premier League, for the footballing world. Lots to talk about. Lots of trolling to be done for Manchester City. Lots of trolling to be done always for Arsenal, regardless of if they win. And obviously, this has massive ramifications for Liverpool. It's been an incredible weekend of football. Let's get stuck into it. So, Arsenal 5, Manchester City 1. Who to go for first? Do we attack Manchester City and make fun of them for losing 5-1? Do we make fun of them for their decline? Do we talk about the absolute embarrassment and shit show they've been majority of the season? Or do we commend Arsenal for a very, very good win? Or do we also talk about the overreaction? Of course, whenever Arsenal win games, they overreact like they've won a trophy. So let's talk about this. I mean, the game itself was really, I think when it was 1-1, I think it was an even game, to be honest. Arsenal just looked stronger though all round. You don't get the impression that City can perform for 90 minutes in big games. They're cracking up against PSG when they're winning. They're not the same City side. They can have flashes of brilliance, flashes of quality, flashes of good, promising attacking play, but they are not the same side that will control and completely rip you apart with passing, completely rip you apart like they've always done and smash you to pieces and obviously see the game out in professional ways. They are a fragmented team. They are a team with no leadership, with no legs, with very, very little motivation, and Arsenal smelt the blood. They didn't collapse, they didn't capitulate when Haaland equalised, and in fact, after 60 minutes, it was, as I said, pretty even, of course. But then Arsenal obviously went on to score 4 goals, very clinical, and they had chances. Even Havertz should have put them 2-0 up, of course. And it was an electric atmosphere, of course. You have to give credit to the Arsenal fans at the Emirates. And obviously lots of storylines here. Gabriel, Haaland, incredible storyline that is. Quite, it's not as big as people might think, but quite interesting nonetheless. Miles Lewis-Skelly, who the fuck are you, scores to make it 3-1. Kai Havertz, who I think is mistreated by Arsenal fans terribly. I don't think he's the biggest clinical finisher, but that's not who he is. He's a weird player. I don't know his specific position. He's an attacking mid, a false 9, a centre forward in some respects. A creative player. Someone who's plays in the pockets. He doesn't really have a defined position. But Havertz does tend to show up in the big games, and I think it takes a lot of guts to ensure that your performance is high for the whole 90 minutes, and he did that, and it was a very well taken goal. And you're going to get a lot of misses with Havertz because he's not a fucking natural finisher. He's very stiff a lot of the time when he finishes, but this was a good finish. And Nwaneri, of course, what a shining light he is for Arsenal. Now let's talk about the ramifications for the Premier League. This puts Arsenal 6 points behind. Listen, I wanted City to win. I was a massive City fan for this game, 100%. I was celebrating when Haaland equalised. I'm very disappointed that City couldn't take points off Arsenal, but it is very interesting to see how City care about Arsenal compared to Liverpool. And if I was a City fan, obviously it's not great. You're not winning the league this season. It's very unlikely you're going to win the Champions League. The FA Cup is still within reach, but this is a horrible fucking season for Man City. But let's see, who do they prefer to win the league? It's probably between Liverpool and Arsenal, and I think it turns out that the City fans are starting to appreciate Liverpool. And as a Liverpool fan, I sit here, I watch this game top of the table. I watch this game with anticipation. I also watch this game because it's a good game. It's a good game of football. It's entertaining, of course. Lots on the line. But obviously, I'm relaxed. My club is 6 points clear of Arsenal, 9 points clear of them. With all games played, and it's very, very interesting. The Arsenal should be respecting Liverpool. Fine, you smash City, you don't have to respect them for the rest of the season. You smashed them. Maybe you should have beaten them at the Etihad at the beginning of the season. Obviously, lots of debates between Arsenal and Man City. They've been going toe-to-toe for the last 2 seasons. We've been, apart from 22-23, we were there fully last season. We've been there, of course, from 18-19 right up until 2022 with Manchester City. So we're no strangers, of course, to the City rivalry. And it now looks like Liverpool and Arsenal are heading to battle. Not so close as, now, we've got the gap on them, which is absolutely massive. But am I worried about Arsenal? Now, I think people have written Arsenal off a lot this season. I do not disrespect Arsenal at all. I respect what Arteta's done. I respect the fight in their team. And, just because they might be embarrassing several times, which they are embarrassing. Their fans need to give their club way more stick. You know, they are being absolutely disgustingly terrible. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be fuming. They are not challenging for cup competitions. This is Arteta's, 19, 20, 21, 21, 22, 23, 24. This is maybe, what is it, sixth season? Wait, let me check. 1920, 2021. 21, 22, 23, 22. Yeah, this is his sixth fucking season and he's won one FA Cup. They have to win something big. Whether it's Premier League or it's Champions League, they're out the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup is hanging on a shred. And they are an embarrassing football club. I don't care if they're winning Man City 5-1. They have spent millions and millions and they have underperformed. They have underachieved, and that should be stated. And that is highly embarrassing. And they should be attacked for it. And now City fans are responding to Arsenal because they are the winners of the Premier League. They have won 4 in a row. They can't do that to Liverpool. We have beaten Man City successfully in 1920. We have also the same number of Champions Leagues as Man City in recent years. Of course, we have won a Champions League. We have beaten them in FA Cup semi-finals. We have won the FA Cup. We have won 2 Carabao Cups, which used to be, in recent years, Manchester City's bread and butter. So we have taken that from them. Arsenal have not taken shit from Manchester City, apart from this 5-1 win. So, you know, City can give it to Arsenal, but the thing is, at Liverpool, we are respected by Man City, and we are now respected by Arsenal, because Arsenal, however good you might want to be beating City, we are the ones that are 6 points top, and it's a beautiful situation for us, Liverpool. What we need to do is just ignore what the results are showing, and just keep with because I think people are respecting Liverpool now. You know, we're not the oil money, and we haven't spent so much. We've done things properly, and Slot has overachieved so far this season, but obviously I don't give a shit about how other fans view us. I care about how we are doing, and it's not a consolation if we are not to win that people say, oh, well, you had a good season, Slot's first season, oh, you can't be too disappointed. No, I will be disappointed if we do not win the league. These are players that are earning thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a week. These are players that have been competing, and we have an experienced squad in some regards. We should be up there. If Arsenal win the league, I do not expect any sort of, you know, humbling from their fans. They will go and celebrate like they have completely won £1 billion each, and they will celebrate this league like, you know, we haven't seen celebrations for a long time. And they will rub it in, of course. But no one likes Arsenal fans because they are deluded, because they blame their owners, they blame their injuries, they blame the referee. And of course, when everything is fit and everything is good, no one is to blame. They have no accountability, have no responsibility. They are embarrassing. If something is not 100% right, they will use it as an excuse. This excuse culture is totally very, very limited. It's very embarrassing. It's very weak. It's not a winning mentality to blame the ref, blame the owners, blame the injuries. And they have used that as an excuse too many times this season, and they should take more accountability. I admit that they have had a couple of injuries, but there has not been an injury crisis. They do not know an injury crisis. They've had a majority of their team fit for the entire season, and they have spent millions. They have spent 700 plus million. You know, they signed Declan Rice for 100 million last season. They've signed in Kai Havertz 65 million last season. You know, they're an embarrassing football club that's completely underachieved. So this is a massive result for them. They're 6 points behind. Now, in terms of heading forward, Liverpool have a massive game against Everton to ensure that we remain 9 points. Now, I do not want to hear crap from Liverpool fans that are talking about this not being an ordinary title race. I've heard it too many times. I don't give a shit if Arsenal are not as good as Man City. We need to win our fucking games, and there's no fucking excuse. This is not the time to be dropping points. Drop points when you are being outplayed, and drop points when you are out of rhythm. Liverpool are back in rhythm. We beat Brentford. You know, we beat Bournemouth. Something else has brought us back into rhythm. We are back in. You know, we beat fucking Lille as well, 2-0. You know, we lost to PSV, but it's irrelevant. We are back in rhythm. We have a full strength squad apart from Trent. You know, there's absolutely no excuse not to beat Everton. We have Wolves at home. Then we have City away. Then we've got 2 home games. Newcastle, who are now shit. They cannot maintain their standards throughout the season, so they are the team where they are not going to threaten us. We must be ruthless, and we must not make mistakes. We must relax into this league, because Arsenal, the pressure is still on them. They will win the next 2 games, Leicester away and West Ham at home, but then they have Forest away and Manchester United away. Again, games that we can look at and think, where can they drop points? So we must beat Everton. This is very important. Good result for Arsenal against Man City. Embarrassing celebrations, embarrassing fan base, the both of them. Very nice to see that Man City probably would rather Liverpool win the league, and the same goes for lots of other fan bases in the country. So yeah, up the Volkswagen Reds. We're going to win the Volkswagen League, but an absolutely massive game for the Premier League.